So a simple question to ask people, and you can ask because again we have to ask it because again particularly a lot of people, obviously my generation, young people, you're going to college, you're trying to make ends meet, and I have a story to tell you. So basically this person used to go to school with me, and they're living together. There's three of them living together, and they used to go to school with me, secondary school, and obviously they're going to college. And you might be liking, what's the story? You might be liking, what's the story? But yes, so they got an apartment who went with this very good, again, they got a little, I wouldn't call it apartment, I would call it small bungalow kind of type of house, which is very good. It's €300 a week, right? You listen to this now. And you might be like, that's €100 for three people. That's not too bad. Like, let's be fair, that's not too bad. But yeah, this is the next thing, and this is the next bit I bring in. So it's basically gone up too, because obviously a lot of people have moved away from the cities into the counties, in County Cavan, particularly the populations went up a good bit in the last few years from people coming from Dublin down to County Cavan and travelling up to Dublin, because obviously Cavan's not that far away from Dublin. So a lot of people have, particularly when the lockdowns happened, things. A lot of people, well, not the lockdowns, before you're during the process of the lockdowns, a lot of people moved to Cavan, which has put the price, obviously, to put the demand up more. And obviously, when demand is higher, prices go up. It's only natural. And obviously, inflation X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z. But yeah, it's €600 basically now. So they have to pay basically €200 each. Well, €200 each, to be there basically in the apartment, and that's a lot. And again, this is the thing: the full time college students, and this is the next the full time college students, and obviously college and have exams and X, Y, and Z, and they're working basically minimum wage basically in retail, and getting fuck all for busting themselves, and it's difficult. It's not easy, and then you have to pay for electricity, you have to pay things. But again, this is the thing, and this is the thing. The ways one of the ways. If the government can levy the price of Drake, why can they not levy the price of wet? Can they not put a cap on the price of wet? Like again, that's outrageous, €600. But again, it can get worse for students, college students, and things like that. Like again, I've heard worse situations. Some people they can't even get a flat, so can't get apartments at all. But again, this is the next thing I say. Is there any life for a young person in this country? Let's be fair, is there? And this is the question we need to ask ourselves. We think about you trying to buy a house, try to buy your first house or wet the house or whatever. It's impossible. It's beyond the possible, and if so, it's beyond nearly non-affordable. People are basically enslaved in this country to just capitalism in this country. And I know that sounds very communism, but they're just basically enslaved. Young people particularly, they're enslaved to the state, basically. They have to just kill themselves working day in, day out to try and make ends meet, just to try and get just to try and live, just to basically try and make ends meet. And then we have, if they want to buy a car, we have them being taxed into next year by insurance companies and X, Y, and Z. And basically, it's basically just the fucking biggest thing ever. Like years ago, people even said it to me, it was easier to get a car and X, Y, and Z to have a house and things like that. Many people said it was easy when they were about 30, 31. They had the money to at least get a car, even if they had to pay in certain amounts. That it was affordable, that it wasn't insane amount to pay and pay insurance next one. It was affordable for the time. And the same with the house, they could take out mortgages and everything, but again, the country was in that better state back then. You could take mortgages out with no interest. The next one said, but this is the thing, there is truly no life for a young person in this country now. There is really, really no life in this country now. Like, you think about jobs too, there's no jobs in the counties, in the small counties of Ireland, the small county towns and villages. There's no jobs. All the jobs are in Dublin. And that's what everybody keeps saying to me, all the jobs are in Dublin. There is no work in the small county, like particularly County Cavan, the border counties. No work going. A lot of self-employed people, particularly, are moving up to Dublin to work. There's just no work going in County Cavan, no work going in all the counties, and it's just basically leading to a downward spiral. And again, I wouldn't blame, and to be totally honest, I wouldn't blame many 2 or 3 people I know planning to go to a different country, and I wouldn't blame them. I totally wouldn't blame them. Better life, better weather. They feel like it's just an endless, just a shit show. Let's put it that way. And it's a shame that we're losing so many good young Irish people. Good young Irish people, hard-working, decent Irish people. They're just trying to get the foot on the ladder, just trying to get a small boost, just a small. Again, they're not looking for everything to be given to them for free or anything like that. Of course not. but they're just trying to get a small step onto the ladder, onto the property market, take for example. Oh, to buy a car. They just want a small bit of leeway. And I'm sure we all remember when we were younger, working jobs the weekend, the next one said just to get a few bob, to put together to buy something. Again, we have to understand, they're not going to get a job, €100 or €200, like take for example, a high end job, €3,000 a week. And it takes time and X, Y, and Z, and it's hard. It's not easy. But again, the question is that there's surely no life for a young person in this country. There's no life for them. Like, let's be fair, there's just truly no life. Like, everything in this country is just against it's just against young people. And particularly now, when they said, one of them said to me about the minimum alcohol, the price of alcohol going up. They used to get a few drinks in the evening, in the shop and the off licenses or whatever. And now they can't do that because the prices are too expensive and they need to pay for wet. And that's, again, you have to think about it, that it isn't feasible too. But again, this is the thing, and this is the sad thing. The government could levy the price of, obviously, beer and drink and everything. But they can't do it to house prices. As I say, that's a €300 increase. 200 euro increase. With €300 a week and it's 200, 600, yes. So, it is a bit of an increase. Like, let's be fair, that's a bit of an increase. That's a big increase for a month. But it's not, I think it's a month. And I think the one, 600, yeah, I think it is. I'm sure they say, because it's monthly payment. So, yeah. I think it is. It must be 600. It couldn't be €600 a week, could it? I didn't ask for that, but I think it might be 600 a month. It couldn't be 600 a week. Like, who could afford that now? Even though they're paying it among themselves, nobody could nearly afford that. Like, half your money be going towards that. But just think about that. That probably is the case. I didn't ask. I have to ask. But yeah, it's a lot of money. It is a lot of money. And these people are only college students. And they've basically been slammed by the state, being slammed by the landlords, being slammed, again, Fine Gael landlords, So that's the reason why we won't see any levies anytime soon on what's next Y and Z. But yeah, it's just fucking over young people 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's what they're up to. But yeah, it's just truly no life for young people in this country. Like, I couldn't give a shit, to be totally honest, about my life. I couldn't give a shit about owning a house or owning a cow. I couldn't give a shit about having a family. Like, again, these people want to have families, they want to meet girls and have families, and X, Y, and Z. I couldn't give a shit. To be totally honest, I just couldn't care less. I'm just here to annoy the government. That's what I'm here to do at the moment. That's my main purpose in life. And to piss off nobody Foley. That's just my main purpose in life. I couldn't give a shit, to be totally honest. I could never, like, again, you could take nearly everything away from me. I wouldn't still never give a shit. Be totally honest with you. I'm just past the point in caring what happens to me, to be totally honest. Especially, you see so much happening in life, you see so much cruelty and so much upset. It kind of hardens you on the inside, and it just kind of just says, whatever happens, So, yes, but it is unfortunate, again, particularly when people want to have a good life, want to have some kind of meaningful life. The government slams them down, just beats them up and just fucks them over every way possible. But yeah, let me know what you think. I know a lot of young people would say, agree with you 100%. Because it's difficult. No young person's not affected by this. Particularly, but again, it's different for me because I just couldn't literally give a shit about myself. I couldn't give, like, again, you don't see me running out and trying to get a house or anything. I just couldn't care less. I'm happy here. That's it. But I understand, people want to have a life. Again, people are entitled to a life. That they don't have to literally work until they're about 100 to pay for that life, to get even a house. Like, again, this is what we're basically young people enslaved into, basically fucking walking themselves into the early grave to pay things, to pay the way in the state, to try and get onto the even just to get the first step onto the property ladder. They have to literally enslave themselves for about 5 years to pay that. And it's not right. It's not right for young people. Whatever, but older people, they have the houses and X, Y, and Z, and they have worked all their life to get that money. But things, years ago, things were easier. You didn't need college degrees for things, and X, Y, and Z. Nowadays, everything, you need a college degree for everything. But anyway, let me know what you think. Subscribe and bye.